like this idea. Go on.
Well, this just in from the gross department. New York City is experiencing a syphilis outbreak.
Oh.
Don't touch a doorknob or bang a...
Syphilis, isn't that like an 1800s disease? How is it alive and well in New York City? Really? Do you speak from experience?
No, just I've been to Google.
It's a sexually transmitted disease that brought down everyone from Christopher Columbus to Oscar Wilde. And apparently it's alive and well in present-day New York. Especially in Chelsea, downtown. Infection rates in that neighborhood over 6 times the average across the city. It's treatable using antibiotics. But, yeah, it still doesn't seem to be good times. I guess it explains all the shrieks of pain when people are peeing in the street in New York.
Not a
sidebar.
Good thing to get, man.
Yeah, sidebar. When did the Kardashians visit New York City? Go on.
A man in Argentina was found dead next to a cross-dressing scarecrow with a sex toy. We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. This guy used to... How lonely do you have to be? Answer, really, really lonely. But he would pop a wig on his scarecrow and go to town on it. He was a shepherd / farmer in Argentina. And he died of a heart attack while going to town on his cross-dressing scarecrow. But, you know, silver lining. Definitely scared off the crows. What else?
What was he farming down there? Tears? A list of the 9 jobs where women earn more than men just came out.
There's 9 different ways you can say prostitution?
Hey, that's not funny, man.
I wonder what the jobs are.
Well, I'm going to get in trouble if I think about it. Why don't you hit us up on Twitter what you think the jobs might be?
That where women get paid more than men? Hold on a second. The only 9 jobs where women can out-earn men. Let's see. What
Sales?
Take a guess.
Sales?
I wonder if this is where they can out-earn men or where they do out-earn men.
Only 9 jobs?
They're service or education-focused roles, a lot of them. Let's see here.
Learning all about women jobs on Google.
Yeah.
Anything stand out
it
there?
Still seems like an incredibly unfair situation. Across the board, women in America earn 78.8 cents for every dollar earned by men. I don't know. At the risk of sounding like a complete chauvinist pig, I'm not taking away from the fact that it's harder for women to, get done what they do. I'm not arguing that it's not harder for them to rise through the ranks, but I have, I guess, in terms of people that I answer to, I've got 3 people. 2 of those 3 people are women, and they are unequivocally my boss. So it's just, I don't know. I see lots of women, and maybe I work in a more enlightened place. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I see a lot of women in positions of power that I'm quite sure out-earn me. I don't know. And it's naive of me to say this. It's, the way I look at sexism, racism, all these sort of isms where minorities are given a hard way to go. Here's the thing. If you have a black friend, and my black friend put this to me this way, and it was beautifully said. If you have a black friend, and you ask him how much racism, or her how much racism in the world there is, there's probably less than he thinks or she thinks. If you ask me, white male with all the white male privilege going, if you ask me how much racism there is in the world, there's probably more than I say there is. For me, there's definitely more racism than I think goes on. And for my black friend, probably less than he thinks goes on. And somewhere in the middle lies the truth. And I would hazard a guess that that's the same for the income gap. That's the same for any persecution of any minority. It's not as bad as they think it is, but it's a lot worse than we think it is. Does that make sense, Funkhauser?
I think you got it there.
Okay, good. Sorry. As you pointed out earlier, I was up late and I haven't had coffee yet today, so the fact that I did that one without falling off my chair is probably a good thing. But let's move right along.
Plus, I got distracted with my Los Angeles local news girls.
Downward facing yoga?
Downward facing
weather?
They put makeup on each other today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, look, you sent me pictures.
I did.
Wow, in this one
that.
It looks like they're kissing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's on purpose. Go on.
A 100-year-old car salesman in Wyoming still works 6 days a week.
Impressive. And since it's a Buick dealership, he's the youngest person on the lot. What else?
2 pandas at a Chinese research center set a record for having sex for 18 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yep. To put that figure in perspective, take the average lovemaking session at my place and add 18 minutes. One last piece of news, Funkhauser.
Because of the severe drought, California has issued severe water restrictions for residents.
Snoop Dogg already doing his part, watering his entire lawn with recycled bong water.
Yo, I always hit the track with undeniable style. While digging ditches for bitches, I'm causing miles of smiles. Building bridges to riches while spitting venom and bile. Not stacking piles of papers, but yo, I think I will in a while. The world will wake up to this modern kind of style. I bring a portion of the proper accolades and fortune will be smiling upon what I do and the things that I say. A renaissance of thought leading us all to brighter days. So I don't believe that you're as stupid as what they tell me. And I do believe that we're beyond the mediocrity, monopoly of our conformity of the way we're taught. The despondency, dishonesty, the cacophonous bureaucracy. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. So when my time is done, I can say I had some fun. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. So when my time is done, I can say I had some fun. Man, sometimes it's just so hard to be a good person, to lift yourself up and try and be that better version of all the potential people you got living in your mind. It takes more than happy chance and circumstance. You gotta decide that you're gonna keep your head up, treat people how you wanna be treated, hold doors and be polite, try not to be conceited. But sometimes, kinda sorta all the times it seems it's true. It's harder than anything else to observe that golden rule, especially when everybody you meet seems like a freaking tool. And it seems like everyone's got a whole lot of chlorine in their gene pool. Sometimes I get angry, I tell everyone to bite me, especially on days when the universe is trying to spite me. And I think to myself, I'm better than that. Think to myself, I'm better than that. Think to myself, I'm better than that. Better than that, better than that. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. So when my time is done, I can say I had some fun. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. So when my time is done, I can say I had some fun.
Delivering fascinating subjects, interesting talk, and boobs and fart jokes. AD on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah. You've been talking about me.
So you can now serve divorce papers over Facebook. That's an interesting one. 26-year-old Eleonora Badu of Brooklyn in New York been trying to get a divorce from her husband for years. Based on his name, I understand why. His name is Victor Blood Drozgu. Sounds like a Game of Thrones villain. They haven't lived together since 2011. She has no idea where he is, and that's been a big problem since her lawyers can't serve him with divorce papers if they can't find him. Even private investigators couldn't track him down. But Victor is active on Facebook. So Eleonora went to court, asked if she could be the first person ever to serve divorce papers over Facebook. A judge just granted him permission last week, and they sent him papers on Facebook in a message. So far, he hasn't responded. The judge told him to try 2 more times, and if he still doesn't acknowledge it, the divorce is going to be official anyway. That's interesting. We're like 2 legal cases away from being able to get divorced just by switching a relationship status on Facebook. But I guess it totally makes sense. You can see when someone's read your message on Facebook. You ever get those messages, Funkhauser, from people, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't want to respond to this," and you have to carefully not open their message because the moment you do, it's going to say, "Hey, this person read the message." It's like, no. Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Or is that just me? Is that my own personal pain? Wow. A lot of things are a lot more convenient in the digital age. All you have to do now to get divorced is send someone 3 Facebook messages. If they don't respond, well, that's it. Very interesting. So, let's you and I talk about marijuana legalization. Especially now that it's legal in several different places. In Washington and Colorado, recreationally legal, not just medicinally legal. It's kind of gotten to the point a little bit now where, I don't know, if you're like me, you feel as though it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And there's probably, I don't know, I don't see it happening all that quickly because, I think looking at places like Colorado, there's all these kinks in the system they have to work out. A buddy of mine came in from Colorado the other day. He was like, yeah, it's interesting. You can go and buy this stuff, and people don't really know what they're doing, and people don't realize that if you eat an edible as opposed to smoke pot, it's going to hit you a lot harder. He was like, I didn't realize that I had to call in to work sick. And so, there's definite question marks about the legalization, recreationally speaking, of marijuana. There's zoning issues. There's all sorts of things going on. And I would imagine that the rest of the country isn't going to adopt certainly not the recreational legalization that's been doled out in Washington and Colorado recently. The recreational legalization, that's a ways off. And I think it's going to be places like Washington and Colorado providing the litmus test for how to do it right, how to work the kinks out of the system and stuff like that. Because there will be problems. There have been problems, and we are here to learn from them. But it's going to happen eventually. It will happen eventually. And there's a DC-based pot lobbying group that have been lobbying for it to happen sooner rather than later. Tommy Chong, unsurprisingly, fan of their work, man. You do yours, Funkhauser. Yours is better.
Yeah, are you talking to me, man? I wasn't paying attention.
So good. So good. Anyways, Tommy Chong's a fan of their work, and ironically, they said no thanks to old Tommy being their celebrity spokesman. Say they're trying to break the stoner stereotype rather than reinforce them, and Tommy's character rather brilliantly embodies that stereotype. The National Cannabis Industry Association, NCIA, say they want to keep Tommy Chong out of their push to legalize marijuana. The group's co-founder and executive director, this dude called Aaron Smith, said that Chong would distract from the group's overall mission, which is for members of Congress and their staffs to meet some of the thousands of small business owners who make up the legal cannabis industry. Smith adds that Chong's message is exactly the opposite of what we're trying to do with our efforts to legitimize the industry by showing it in a positive and responsible light. One cannabis company in Seattle says they've pulled their membership from the NCIA over the decision to drop Chong. Well, I mean, if you're trying to sell paraphernalia, if you're trying to sell weed, look, Willie Nelson has a signature weed, gets you so high you forget to pay your taxes. But, I mean, Tommy Chong absolutely 100 million % has a place in this newfound industry. But I don't know if it's, in terms of, I don't know if it's one of advocacy. Look, he portrays a burnout.